Hi, my name is Lawrence Michael Whitfelt, and I got into the RTF program because since I was about 14, I was a football buff, and I decided I was never going to be big enough to play pro football after I went to my very first Dallas Cowboy game and literally only came up to about nipple height from all of the gigantic linemen. It's pretty intimidating, so I decided to switch my road to go down for professionalism. I got into film, the yearbook program. After that, I graduated to actually video and being a newscaster for my school. And during that entire time, they had us making projects and working on little videos to put during the school announcements, what they were saying for lunch, and then here's a cute little video from KHS News. I got really into that and stopped newscasting as much and started making videos. I won a 3 Student Emmy Award winning video, a sports story with about paintball, and it was fun. I had a lot of fun making it. It was a piece of cake, and I won awards for it, and that's when I knew that I was just, meant to be in this program. The reason why I believe that I'm so well set for this profession is because I'm very calm, I'm very patient, and I'm very creative. And when it comes to helping other people out, I make them feel comfortable. So I know that great things could be done with me just being in the area. I hope to be in a broadcasting station, a radio station, something where my voice could be heard. And ultimately, of course, I want to be the man calling the shots. And would I be going over the practicum documentation form, over all the things that I want exactly put inside of my practicum? This is a question to Deborah.
Deborah Hill, repeat the question.
Deborah Hill, would you please rephrase the question? Reference any or all of the chapters and or pages in your text that pertain to your practical experience.
Okay, those are anything, and you can skip that. Those are
Okay,
anything that come into, when you're doing your paper, your inquiry project that has to do
Because
with
this is a
that.
totally separate thing from what's going on right here. Okay, well, that was my class introduction.
Good. Well, so I'm going to ask then, is there anyone in the audience here that has a question for him? All right, now, so if you have, come around the camera, come here.
Hi, I'm Laura Johnson, and you sound like you're very confident in what you want to do, but I wasn't clear on exactly what area you want to get into. Do you want to make film? Do you want to be a broadcaster? Do you want to have a radio show?
Well, ultimately, it's split between wherever I get the job first. If a radio station picks me up being their janitor, however it'll start out, work from the bottom to the top, I would like to just have my voice heard, whether it be me telling everybody what the weather is going to be like on a Sunday, or if it's going to be me chatting from 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock during the Wednesday wild rock hour. I would just love my voice to be heard and for people to be put in a better mood when they hear me talking.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Deborah Hill, so what is your inquiry project? What are some ideas that you have for your inquiry project?
For my inquiry project, I was mostly thinking about professionals, actual people that have accomplished what I'm hoping to accomplish. And directors, for example, they're somewhere where there's people that they deeply inspire me. And I would love to go into their roads that they went down and their lifestyles and their choices that got them to be where they're at, so I could use it to assist myself to put me in the position where I want to be. I am going to look at newscasters, my favorite newscasters, even though I can't really name any off the top of my head. but their history, just the general history of successful radio announcers, Bobby Bones, for example, just special people here and there that I would love to go into the history of their success.
Well, just to say, if Bobby Bones is one of your models, be prepared when we go to Emmis because you'll meet Bobby.
I would love to meet Bobby
So
Bones.
if you're there, that would give you an opportunity to get some questions ready that would go for your inquiry project. So you get a twofer. You get to go to the field trip, tick that off the class requirements, and you have some questions ready for Bobby that you can translate into your inquiry project right there.
Of course. I'll have some very important questions lined up for him because there's a lot I'd love to know about this guy from word of mouth through the grapevine. I've heard that he hires people off of raw talent. He doesn't go for degrees and the mathematics of what your success is supposed to be rated as. He goes for people that he meets and that he wants to be talking or working with them personably, very personable. And that's the kind of person I want to meet, and that's why I'd be doing this project, is to see what kind of personalities more people than Bobby Bones has.
Well, to say to you, and again, just as advice to the studio audience here, is it might be wise to have a business card. You may not get all the time that you want to ask him, but you may want to give him your card. Tell him, yeah, I would like to use you in my inquiry project. Is it possible, is there some time beyond class time that I could talk to you, meet to you? Here's my card.
That's a very wise idea.
Yeah.
I might have to go get some cards made. Actually, Victor, I don't know if you remember him. I'm pretty sure he's still in some of your classes. He gave me some tips on where to get cheap business cards because they're going out of business. They're practically giving them away for free. So if anybody is curious in that, let's talk to Victor.
Well, and you can that's something else for the email list. That's networking that you might pass around. And just to say to you again, as advice for you in the studio audience is, if you want people to spend money on you, which all of you do, then you need to spend money on yourself. Because if you don't invest it in you, how can you expect someone else to invest it in you? So that's why I think that business cards, if you get them cheap, that's good. But to go ahead and invest in things like that, because it's really investing first in yourself and modeling that to people that you might want to have invest in you.
Marketing, sort of.
Yeah, exactly. So you did a great job. Since you're interested in the directing aspect of it, I'm going to give you your first opportunity here, and I want you to quickly and decisively pick your predecessor to come sit in the chair where you are.
Craig.
Hello, everyone. My name is Timothy Craig Newsome. You can call me Craig. People call me Craig. I've been in the RTF degree plan here at ACC for a couple of years, and I'm almost done. I originally got into film in high school. I, of course, did a project for speech class, which was awesome. We went around and we actually used a bunch of sports people, and we interviewed them and asked about how they felt about school pride, school spirit, what they wanted to do after school, whether it was sports related or not. Took a few videos, edited them old school style into a new VHS tape, and from then on I was addicted. Since I've had other jobs, done other things, had plenty of opportunities to do careers in the world, but I came back to this because I really enjoy doing this. Since I've been in Austin, I've actually worked with Fox Sports Net and ESPN and ABC for UT football games, starting out doing utility, pulling wire, setting up cameras, then eventually moved on to actually doing some camera work, which is really fun. It's really nice. Let's see. Some of my goals and aims, of course. Down the line, don't know how many years, 5, 10 years, I do want to own my own production company. I want to be the person that everybody will come to with projects and just look over it and make sure everything's taken care of. But in order to get there, I, of course, need to start my own directing, producing either independent films or get together with some kind of film company or film group to start working with them on projects just to get my name out there. So that's what I hope to do in the world. Something about myself, I'm very patient, and I like collaboration, and I consider myself very creative. So working with me, honestly, I work well with others. Enjoy it. Lots of fun. Inquiry project. Oh, any questions, actually? Anyone? About me, myself, my past, my future?
You got one?
Yes, sir.
Skyler Smith, I was just curious, as far as owning your own production company, what kind of things are you going to want to produce? Film, commercials?
Film.
Film?
Like 80% film, and then 20% whatever else anybody brings me that I deem is okay, that's worth the money and worth the time. But film mainly.
Great. And do like indie projects interest you as far
Love
as?
indie projects.
All right.
Yeah. They
Cool.
don't have to be $1 million. They could be, thousands of dollars worth.
All right, thanks.
Very well.
Deborah Hill's suggestion. One of the speakers we're going to have is Becky Hayes. And I want you to put a star in your syllabus by that, because she will have a great deal to do with your inquiry project, and you can also email her, call her before or afterwards. Because she started her own production company and did something else that I think that most people don't think about when they think about starting a company is, when will be the right time to sell it?
Right.
And how does one sell a company? So she went through that whole process of starting it, running it, selling, deciding the right time to sell it, because it's like anything else, it's investment. You
Yeah,
need to
it's-
decide when it's going to appreciate enough to make something off it, and what time would there be depreciation from it, and what time would you have to spend more money to make it go the next step, all those kinds of decisions.
Deborah Hayes.
So she'd be a great person for you to make sure that you're tuned in when she's there, and all those questions you have about starting a business and selling, and maybe selling a business, might be some that you'd want to talk to Becky about.
Becky. Nice.
Anyone
Thank
else
you.
have some questions? Come on up.
My name is Larry Whitbelt, and Craig, I was curious as to what kind of movies do you like to make?
All kinds. I would rather, in my whole portfolio, I'd like to make one of every kind. One comedy, one horror, one action, one drama, just to get the whole spectrum.
But no specific preference that weighs more than the others.
Probably indie drama.
Indie drama,
Yeah.
like
Because indie dramas and low-budget films don't have to do a whole lot of special effects.
I don't
And
wanna
I like good stories that are shot well that you can watch.
I don't want to say 500 Days of Summer, because
Right.
it was kind of a high-budget film, but movies like that,
Yeah.
romantic.
Doesn't matter. Romantic comedy, drama
good, cute
comedies,
things
Donnie
going
Darkos,
on.
but it
Donnie
doesn't matter.
Darko's, I'd be very proud of you if you made that, Craig.
I would too.
Anyways, that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so, Sonny, I'm going to have you come on up, ask him a question, and then what I want you to do is to switch. I want you to go up there and be the next presenter.
Okay. Sonny Clark, I was forced to ask a question. Let me think here. Craig, what are some of your favorite movies that you admire, or you would like to make something similar?
Top 5, The Beach is one of my favorite movies. I don't know
Good movie.
why, but I love that. I love the whole outside tropical theme with a good storyline and be outdoors. I'm not too much of a let's do everything indoors type thing. I like good movies like that. Comedy-wise, I don't know if you ever heard of a movie called Can't Hardly Wait, but I love the high school teen comedy drama situations like that. Those are always good.
Cool.
Action-wise, if I was doing action, of course, it'd be big budget, as big as I can get. Not Titanic big, but
Michael
big.
Bay.
Michael Bay.
Explosions.
Yeah, actually,
Cool.
that would be pretty cool to have a hand in.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
By the way,
All right, hey everybody, my name's Sonny Clark. Everybody can call me Sonny. My goal in the TV film industry is mainly to try to find a career for myself, be it as, like a feature film director someday, or just as a camera operator for a TV station, or on various film projects or whatever. That's what I'd like to do. I hope this class can help me in those goals by opening doors to various places in the industry and kind of giving me an idea on how to take advantage of those opportunities as well. My previous experiences, I've taken lots of RTF classes here at ACC, made some student films, and I'm currently interning at Channel Austin, and we're working on a documentary about the history of public access. Because public access in Austin might be coming to an end pretty soon at the end of next year. The contract that Channel Austin has with Time Warner is up, so they're trying to make a documentary about it and try to get interest and figure out a way to keep it going. And I enjoy movies, television, music, sports, beer, dogs, cats, and other stuff like that. So, yep, that's my introduction. Anybody want to ask me a question?
Craig Newsome.
Hello.
I was just wondering, would you like to work mainly in Austin, or would you like to go to the West Coast or the East Coast?
Well, actually, I may be moving to New Orleans in about a year or two, and I hear that they have a really good film industry there. So, I love Austin. I'd like to work here in Austin too, but I think New Orleans would be good as well. But I'm open for just about anywhere.
Nice. They beat the Vikings last night, by the way.
Yeah, it was a pretty good game.
Yeah, it was.
Deborah Hill, and what are your ideas for your inquiry project?
My inquiry project, I was actually, I guess, a lot like Craig's. I was going to write one about how to start a production company and try to figure out all the aspects of that, because that's something that I'm very interested in as well.
Well, note, and just another advertisement, not a requirement, but this is just what I was talking to you about. Here are two people who have same interest. You know, there's a lot that goes into a production company from buying equipment, renting equipment, having full-time employees, having freelance employees, doing some of the work yourself, doing the administration yourself, who's going to do the marketing, how is it marketed, on and on and on. So it's a huge area about doing it. So that might be an opportunity, should they be interested, for them to email each other and say, let's get together and divide this into parts, figure out all the things we need to know. You take this part, I'll take this part of it. We'll both get the information and we'll present it together. Any other questions? Okay, Richard, then, if you come up and ask him a question. Never mind. Come up and ask him a question, and then you'll take his place.
Hey, so I was wondering if you actually have any equipment now that you...
Yes, did you say your name?
My name is Richard Chavez, and I was wondering, is there any equipment you have right now or any other like equipment film-wise you want to purchase?
I have a camera. It's a DSLR camera that's, you know, people primarily use them for photography, but they also do really good video. So, but that's the only thing I have. I mean, I need lights, mics, other cameras, everything, you know. It's a pretty expensive venture.
Sounds good.
All right.
Okay, got it. All right, while you're going up,
Hi, my name is Richard Chavez. You can call me Richard. My goal overall is to be a writer / director through a major studio. Not particularly, you know, picky. Doesn't matter who it is. Just as long as the studio lets me make a movie and it gets released into theaters. I'm taking this class because I'm hoping that this will, in one way or another, get my foot in the door, whether it be through a cable station, a radio station, whatever path I have to take to get to that route. That's what I'm hoping my inquiry project can lead me towards writing / directing my own films. Some of my previous experience, I've actually written and directed 5 short films, 3 of them through ACC, 2 of them on my own, and I actually sent one off to South by Southwest. It didn't get accepted, but I can kind of see why, because it was my first one. But even still, it was a great, you know, process. I had a lot of fun, a lot of headaches too, but overall, I was really happy that I did it. Pretty much, I'm a pretty simple guy. I love film. I love music. I try to go to as many concerts as possible, and I try to see as many movies as I can. That's pretty much it. Thanks.
questions? state again for us what your inquiry project is? I know that you mentioned something.
Well, it's writing and directing films because usually what I see as far as films, it's usually there's more directors or more writers. There's a very few writers and directors, so I kind of want to see how like Paul Thomas Anderson or Darren Aronofsky, how these guys kind of got their foot in the door. And I kind of seen some of the stuff like in their interviews and whatnot, but even still, I kind of want to know if there's a specific route you have to take to become a writer/director.
Okay, Laura, would you come up, ask him a question, and then take his place?
Hi, my name is Laura Johnson. What kind of films did you say you wanted to make?
I'm a little bit like Craig. I kind of not specific. The 5 shorts I've done 3 comedies, 2 dramas, and 1 dramedy. So I'd be willing to do a horror movie, action movie, but I kind of have to agree with him too. As far as horror movies or action movies, it requires a lot of time and effort and a lot of money. Whereas like dramas, I've noticed you can put out casting calls and then you'll have plenty of actors that come by and audition for it. Plus, a lot of it you can do with little to no budget. I mean, the first short I did, I pretty much spent no more than like $500. So it just kind of it also helped that I have a camera too. So, but if I had to pick a specific genre, I lean more towards dramas. I like those kind of films more so than other ones.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Switch.
Hi, my name is Laura Johnson, and I actually got into this class because I was having a hard time figuring out what I wanted to do, and Deborah suggested I take it. A couple of years before I started school, I decided I was going to try to get into the film industry, and I started taking acting classes and going to premiere parties and meeting people, and I met tons of people. I've never had an issue meeting people and all of that stuff, but I found that I really hated acting. I hate being on camera. It makes me really uncomfortable. I don't like what I'm doing right now, but I'm doing it. So I thought that's just not for me, and but I realized I really didn't have anything to offer, so I thought I'm just going to go to school. And I've spent my life taking care of other people. I have 2 daughters, and I was married. And so it's just been in the past couple of years that I decided to do what I wanted to do. But now I'm kind of still trying to figure it out. I love music, and I love film, and I'm trying to combine the two. So, I love dealing with people and helping people and networking. I've been in sales and advertising all my life, so I have no issues with that. And so I'll probably go down that path. Maybe putting music and film is one area, or casting, something like that. So I think that's it. I think I answered the questions.
Craig Newsome.
Hi.
When you say music and film, do you making music videos or being the person to choose the music that goes in the film?
Actually, I want to help talent, placing music into film.
I got you.
Finding the music, not supervising, because supervising requires a lot of research and stuff like that, which I don't mind doing that, but I really I thought about getting into A&R. There's just so many areas to go into where you're selling and helping people. So I thought about casting when I first got in the RTF program, because I wanted to help maybe talent find, jobs. But then I wanted to combine the two, so maybe helping bands put their music into film and doing a little casting or something like that. So I'm still not sure, really.
Right on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Deborah Hill, I know we're going to talk later, but I also want to mention to you that to look at the syllabus, we have someone who's coming in, Mr. Wilson, and what he's done is scored for films.
Oh, okay.
So he would be a good person, and just to say, even if they haven't come in yet, if there's someone who is going to come in, it doesn't prevent you from contacting them ahead of time.
Yeah.
And doing one or two things. Either asking them questions beforehand or just say that when they come, here's some things that you know that you'll be interested in to sort of help kind of guide what they're going to say to that event.
Okay.
Okay, Joe, come on up, ask her a question, and then take her place.
Hi, Joe Morrow.
Hey, Joe.
So I was wondering, in your search to find what you want to do, are there any other avenues that you've looked into that you've decided weren't for you, or anything?
Well, I've done a lot of stuff. I've done hair and makeup for TV, for Spike TV. I've done some acting. I've done a lot of extra work of, that sort of thing. But if anybody's done that kind of work, they know it's just a lot of not pay. There's no pay in it. You're lots of hours. And if you're not really looking to act, then it's just kind of useless. It's fun, but but that's about it that I've done so far.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, now you all switch, so you go up there.
Hi, I'm Joe Morrow. I like to be called Joe. My immediate goal in film is to find pretty much anything I can get into to try to get my foot in the door. But long term, I'm really interested in sound editing and editing, and so anything I can find in those capacities. Let's see. I've done plenty of work for class productions. I've also been involved in a couple of film races. I did a 24-hour film race for filmracing.com. That one was called Moving On, and then I did a 48-hour film race for Real Women. That one was called Circle of Trust. Especially felt really great about that one because I did a lot for it. I wrote the script, I ran sound, I ended up having to edit it in like 3 hours, like a 6-minute video in 3 hours because of all the problems that we had with our editing software. But let's see, my spare time I like to ride bikes, read, write short stories. Let's see, what else? I try to cook, but I'm not very good at it. But and I guess, yeah. Any questions or anything?
What kind of short movies do you like to make?
Comedies. I feel I can I'm good at writing for comedies, but really anything. We did this kind of semi-drama, semi-comedy thing for the 48-hour race, and this really heavy, kind of overly heavy drama that was interesting to try to, to see the actors try to work out the right level of emotional intensity, because we were going a little over the top for that.
Yeah.
But
Do you ever write just stories that aren't screenplays?
yeah, I have one that I'm working on, this kind of post-apocalyptic thing that I keep trying to work out, kind of a post-apocalyptic road story, basically.
Like The Road?
Well, more of not as intense, I guess, is that
movie was intense.
Yeah, I mean, more like if not a comedy, but a more lighthearted kind of thing that takes place in something like that.
Lighthearted,
Yeah.
post-apocalyptic.
Yes.
Zombieland, there's a good example. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Deborah Hill, and by the way, I judged that last 48-hour contest, and it was a good film. I saw it in there. I had it on one of my top ones, and it was well done.
Thanks.
And a little commercial here before we go on is one of the things you want to do when we have guests here and we're taping these for presentation is to make sure that your cell phones are off. And off means not even on vibrate. Because I bet, Skyler, you were picking that up. So what it is somebody has a black bag back there that has a phone on vibrate. And even if it's on vibrate, we're going to have to cut, which can be embarrassing, but we cannot use that footage. because the sound quality is not good enough to cablecast or broadcast. So just make sure that when you come in, that you just take care of that when you come in. So anybody else have one? Everybody checked it? Okay, Hector, you're next. Come up and ask a question.
Hector Garcia.
Hi.
You said you had trouble with your editing software. Wanted to ask what editing software it was and what do you like to prefer?
Final Cut Pro was what we were using, and that's what I've most used. Let's see, that's really the only thing I've used, actually, so I'm pretty comfortable with it. I love the way there's so many different ways to do the same thing on it that you can kind of just figure out the way you like to work with it, and I really enjoy it, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Hector Garcia, and well, just to start off, I have little experience in the film industry or anything, well, actually none at all. The few classes I've taken recently is TV 1 and Intro to Tech, which I learned a lot about the camera equipment and the broadcasting equipment. And my goal is to get from this class is to learn more about the broadcasting area of pretty much television. And I know taking this class, we're going to visit a lot of different radio stations and television stations, so that will give me a better idea and what it is I want to do. And what I want to do is just help my church out and broadcasting, I'd say preachings or making recording small events, or if anything, like small dramas. But overall, it's usually just to just be there and just be helpful. And that's it. Any questions?
Deborah Hill, so when you have your church, how do people who aren't in the church, how do they get to see it? What's the delivery system?
Well, usually what we've done, we actually put it on, I think it was Channel Austin, half-hour segments of it. If not, my church used to have a channel here, Channel 47 in Austin, which got pretty expensive to run, so we're not doing that anymore. And there's also other channels in Amarillo and Pampa, and that's a form of actually broadcasting. And yes.
Well, to just say to you, and this is also a commercial for people, delivery systems are also something that's very complicated now. Complicated, but then more opportunities. Because what you were doing is that you had a low-power broadcast station. Right. Okay, so that's under 50 miles. And then what you're doing now is cable casting. So that means Channel Austin is delivered over the cable. It's not available through air, over the air. And of course, there are other things that you can do, certainly webcast, and they're huge. The whole Inquiry Project could be just what delivery system are out there, what are coming on, and what meet our needs to do that. So I encourage all of you to think about that, but also to understand, if you're using a delivery system, exactly what it is. Okay? So now the next person I'm going to ask is Ryan. Ryan, would you come and ask him a question and then take his place?
Hi, Ryan Johnson. Was wondering, out of the classes you've taken, which has been your favorite?
Well, I've taken 3 actually. The intro to, I guess, broadcasting and radio, and then the intro to tech and the TV 1. And actually, I've enjoyed all 3 of them. I can't really differentiate because each one taught me different things, and I enjoyed every single one of them actually.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ryan Johnson. I graduated Texas Tech in 2006 with a degree in electronic media and communications. But after not finding much work after that, I fell in love with criticism. I'm currently a theater critic for the Austin branch of Examiner.com. I was also an entertainment critic for Austin.com and a music critic for Soundcheck Magazine and Made Loud. And after a while, I realized that I'd really like to get back into the whole film and television thing. So I came back here to take a few classes at ACC and learn a few more hands-on skills. Yeah, and my goal here is to utilize just all the skills I've learned back at Tech and here, and even from my work as a critic, to see how I can use those skills to get me a job in any of the film or TV industry, but particularly in the writing or editing aspects. And I hope this class will give me that push to get my foot in the door. Any questions?
Craig Newsome, hello. Have you done any projects like at Texas Tech or here, as far as writing, filming?
I've done a few projects for the school. I shot a short film last semester that was pretty good, but back at Tech, the only problem was they taught us a whole bunch of theory and taught us how to use the software, but didn't get that much hands-on experience. I mean, when I came here, I was shocked by the quality of the equipment here. Because no offense to Texas Tech, but they didn't have nearly as good of equipment. So
Yeah, I keep hearing ACC's got the best. So.
they really do.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Any other questions?
So you criticized music and stuff like that. Did you ever bash on anybody? Who is the worst band you ever heard?
That's hard. Gosh.
There's just so many of them.
There are a few bad bands out there, yeah. But really, I tried to keep it positive as possible. Because if I can be frank, a lot of the time they didn't let me write too negative reviews. Cause,
You always got to kind of keep the band image a little up.
Which is why I was really not into music criticism for a long time. Which is why I'm glad I am where I am now. Because theater criticism, they allow me a whole lot more lenience. And I've seen some pretty bad plays, so.
Yeah, did you ever get to criticize a big-time band or a big-time flick?
I got to review some pretty big CDs, yeah. Not anyone huge, but like the Ravenettes and the Shearwater, folks like that. Got to review their stuff. So.
I think I've heard of that Shearwater band. All right, thank you very much.
Okay, Deborah Hill, would you state again, I think you might have alluded to it, but can you just be succinct about what you're thinking about doing for your inquiry project?
My inquiry project is a little complex. It's about how I can utilize the skills I've learned as a critic, my analytical eye, my attention to detail, my skill in writing, to get me somewhere in the film industry, to get my foot, to help me rise myself above some of the other people who might be trying out for the job.
So you're looking for in writing what's going to give you what might give you the competitive edge?
Yeah, whether the skills I've gained in this criticism field will give me a competitive edge, yeah.
Good. Cut?
See, the funny thing about that.
Caroline Nelson. My future goals, I would love to be a filmmaker. I would love to direct films or even work in television too and direct television shows. My previous experience, I've done a little PA work for some shorts, just small independent films here in Austin, just a couple of them. And I'm working towards the ACC, both of those certificates right now. So I'm in my last semester of work for that. And my hope and for this class that I would gain would be to learn more about the business side and the ins and outs and, you know, making those connections and just, I like to learn how people got to where they are and interested in that. I love comedy. That's probably my favorite thing. I love to laugh and I love working with people and just the collaboration and everything that goes into film, the creativity and working together is my favorite. And for my inquiry project, I would love to do more towards the side of female directors and maybe pick apart some very successful ones and just the path or the journey that they took in order to get where they are today or have been. So that is all. Any questions?
Deborah Hill, I heard you won a kind of prestigious award here at ACC.
A scholarship, is that what you're
Yes.
talking about?
Mm-hmm.
It's for women doing the certificate programs scholarship, the Elder Memorial Scholarship. So,
Good.
thank you.
Also, feel free to use anything like that on your resume. Anything that shows that somebody thought enough of you to give you cash is always impressive. And always, you know, don't hesitate to give the award amount. Also, if you manage anything, make sure that you always include in it the size of the budget that you managed. You know, if it's to your advantage, that's always a good thing to do. Okay, Skyler, are you all at a place where you all could switch? Can James run that into there if you switch and then you do his? Okay. Yeah. So now we're going to switch. You're going to take the camera.
Great.
Hello, my name is Skyler Smith. I just go by Skyler. My goals for the future, I would really want to be a cameraman on Discovery Channel, National Geographic Channel style documentaries. I love traveling, so those would be what I want to do. And I think what I'll get out of this class would be a foot in the door. And of course, with the inquiry project into looking into those two things, like an actual plan on how to get those done. My experience, I'm also working on the 2 certificates here for the RTF program. This will be my last semester, and then next semester I'll go ahead and get the associates too. Yeah, and I've ran sound, live sound design for bands, also some recording on the side for 6 years. Done highlight reels, made some commercials for the Texas Restaurant Association, some internal commercials for Dell that they use just to do some trainings with their people. Something interesting about me, I used to live and work in Kashmir, India, mainly on non-governmental organizations and a little bit with a governmental organization, the UN up there. They had the peace treaty place, just making sure that everyone has legal weapons and help them out a little, filed some paperwork and whatnot. Yeah, so any questions or?
Hi, I'm Laura Johnson. How did you end up in India?
Plane? It's just something completely random.
No, I mean, how did you get did you work for the UN?
No. That's just something that happened while I was there.
Oh, while you were there.
Yeah, like my old degree was cultural studies, and so we didn't do internships or things like that. We did practicums where you picked a place, went there, and had to assimilate yourself. And so I happened to pick India. I knew a guy who was living up there. When I got up there, we bought a house. Crazy, don't ever own a marble house. You slip around in socks and it's cold. And so, yeah, and then one day, like the UN facilities were about a mile down the mountain from our house. And so I saw some guys standing out in front of the gate one day and just stopped and talked to them, told them, hey, I'm here doing some studies, like I'm interested in what you guys do here. And they're like, well, come inside. So I did and ended up like helping them out a little. Nothing important. It was just cool to like see how they kind of work. Yeah. As far as that place, according to the CIA World Factbook, is the #1 hostile territorial dispute, followed by the Gaza Strip.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is interesting. Thank you.
Any other questions? Everybody have a chance to be on camera? Okay, yep. Cut. Okay, Carol.